I've just seen the first 2 episodes of Built in Birmingham, Brady and the Blues, and wow. I'm going to dive into a bit about what goes on in those first 2 episodes, my overall thoughts on the series itself and the event that was put on last night. So I was lucky enough to be invited to a cast and crew screening of the first 2 episodes of Birmingham City's documentary series that's releasing on Amazon Prime tomorrow. And as someone who features in the documentary, they invited me down too. So what a privilege. Very, very surreal to sit there, seeing an IMAX screen with Blues players and the Blues manager and CEO and all these other people there, and seeing them looking up my nostrils at a home game. Absolutely ridiculous. What a privilege. I'm just going to share some thoughts about those first 2 episodes. Let's get into it. So in attendance were the production crew from Whisper. They were the filming crew that's been following Birmingham City around all season. The other guests included people who worked at Birmingham City, including some players as well as some OSC members. So there was a wide range of people there, and it was quite busy. It was busier than I expected it to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to dive into a little bit about those first 2 episodes without giving too much away. I don't want to spoil anything, but I just want to give kind of my feedback on those first 2 episodes. I'm really impressed with the way it's been produced. It's hard because they've only released a few trailers, and a lot of them are really focused around Tom Brady. And obviously with Tom Brady being in the name of the documentary, I can understand why some people might be worried that it's too focused on him. I'll go into it a little bit more later, but it gives you more of an idea of the impact Tom Brady has on this club. I know a lot of people thought, I mean, I even thought this at the start as well, you know, maybe he's just there as a kind of marketing move, as a face. I understand, yeah, he did some stuff with health and nutrition and recovery and all that stuff, but you know what? It just shows the attitude that he brings to Birmingham City in terms of a relentless need to win. It's not just that, it's not accepting mediocrity. Now, the first episode of this documentary, as you can imagine, it covers Birmingham City, the history of the city and the club. I think it does that really well with archive footage and interviewing people as well. But there's also some shots from Peaky Blinders that weave their way through the documentary, but I think it's done in a good way. So yeah, the first episode it was actually hard to watch. It brought back a lot of memories, and you look at that squad and it looks night and day from where we are today. So obviously it starts and John Eustace is the manager. He obviously gets sacked and they bring in Wayne Rooney. Now, this was a part of the documentary where I was curious to see how much they'd cover, and it's really interesting to see a behind the scenes look of pretty much Tom Brady meeting Rooney. You can tell they hadn't met before. It shows Rooney, it shows he goes through a string of defeats and that, and Tom Brady comes into the training ground, talks to Rooney, and they just seem levels apart. You know, these are both 2 people who are, in their respective sports, are both legends, right? However, it just shows the difference between one and the other. Tom Brady's hunger is always there to see, and he's there with Birmingham City, and you can see it. And when he talks to Rooney, you can just see the disconnect. It's almost a bit awkward, and I like the way they do it. They kind of leave the camera on a little bit, and I don't think Rooney ever feels really comfortable around him. There's one quote, and I'll put it on the screen here because this has been put out there now. Here's an excerpt from The Athletic. Tom Brady has a tour of the facility before sitting down with Wayne Rooney, who tells the American how he would show up to training at 9 a.m. during the summer's pre-season preparations. So here they're talking about it's a bit miserable in England, you know. You show up at 9 and it's all dark and whatever, and then you go home and it's dark as well. And then Brady subtly responds by telling Rooney he'd get to the team's facility at 6 a.m. Whether intentional or not, it demonstrates Brady's competitive edge. He's just doing it in conversation. He's like, yeah, you know, I'd show up and we'd be there 6 a.m, it'd be dark, and then you go home and it'd be dark again. And then he says, the only thing that gets you through that is winning. It didn't look good for Rooney whatsoever. And then when you see Chris Davies come in, it is night and day in the way that they communicate with the players, in the way that, you know, Rooney had a style of play he wanted to play. Understandably, he didn't have the right players to do so. It was the wrong decision all round. It was the wrong decision for him, but I don't think he would have ever been the right manager for Blues. If we had him in League One, I think could have been a disaster. You look at Chris Davies coming in, and the way he communicates with the players is so direct. Everything that he wants to see on the pitch, he clearly demonstrates. He's got energy about him. He's got fight about him. He's a relentless winner. With Rooney, it just felt like he's won what he needs to win, and he didn't have that drive about him. And I think a lot of it is in his demeanour as well, which you can't really control. But when you're trying to motivate a group of players, you can't be like that. You just can't. And Tom Brady, you can see that. He'll walk in the dressing room and you can just see, like, there's just no excuse. There's this American, like, it's really Americanized idea of like hard work and winning. And he described training practice as well, and he's like, you go into training, you're playing like it's a real game, and you go in with that energy and you bring everyone else's level up. And the problem with Blues was that squad was so split. A lot of the players were just strolling around. Again, I'll pull up another quote here. He says, well, we've already changed the coach, so it's really the players, because the coach don't go out there and put the ball in the goal. They were lazy, they were entitled, and when you're lazy and entitled, you don't have much of a chance to succeed. We've got to change all the people that are associated with losing. So I think this summer there's going to be a lot of people gone. Now, this is once we'd got relegated, and I spoke about this in my previous YouTube video as well. The squad needed an overhaul, and it was the perfect timing for it, but it could have gone so wrong. But thankfully, they used the data-led approach. They brought in Chris Davis. He had this expertise about him. He had every single attribute you'd want in a manager. So yeah, that's pretty much the first episode. It's all doom and gloom. It was hard to watch. It was so hard to watch because it just brought back a lot of memories and a lot of just nasty times at Birmingham City, you know, where we just felt like we're going through this all over again. But then thankfully, and I think this is why they showed 2 episodes instead of 1, because we would have all gone home and been like, oh, I'm miserable now. But they showed the second episode. Chris Davis comes in. It's the start of the season. You know, they show the Wrexham game. It's honestly amazing that it's got David Beckham bigging up St Andrews and talking about this, that and the other. And it just goes in to show how much they've actually changed in a season. And, you know, as football fans, we do have short memories, myself included. And to see from episode 1 to 2, that contrast from where we were to where we are. And they've admitted they made mistakes, right? But nevertheless, they made the mistake, whatever. We're going to continue to push on and move and grow and push Birmingham City forwards, and they've done that. And I was watching it and I was honestly thinking, how lucky are we? You know, from episode 1, it felt like, and they said themselves, it felt like a business opportunity. You know, they had an asset that's been seriously underfunded. They could put money into it, rise it, make a profit. And in episode 2, and pretty much, you know, the end of episode 1 when we get relegated and stuff, you can see that the love for the club is growing, the love for the sport is growing, and Tom Wagner as well. You can see the connection he's building with the city and with the fans, and it's really good to see, and it's really, really rare in football. Yeah, second episode, you know, there's obviously pre-season, there's talk about signings, you get loads of behind the scenes and stuff on the you know, the Stansfield signing, the Iwata signing. It's really good, and it's raw. I'm not going to give too much away, but there's some funny moments from like Craig Gardner in there, and it does a really good job of showing the other side to footballers as well, that human side. And it was nice to see the footballers there as well. You know, Jay Stansfield was there with his kid, you know, couldn't be older than 1. So I understand where he's at with that. You know, there was when Paik scored the goal, I saw Clara in front of me nudging Paik like, oh, you scored, and that kind of thing. So it's really nice to kind of see the human aspect and the human side of a footballer. You know, we just judge them on playing football constantly, but for them to be involved in this and for them to sit down and want to see this, it's nice. I'm pretty sure Tommy Doyle was there as well, and obviously he wasn't in the documentary, but it's quite nice. Watching that Wrexham game though got me just so excited for next Friday. I won't give too much more away, but what I will say is you'll see that Tom Brady has had so much more of an impact than people realise. He's not just a face. He's not just someone that's going to give advice on health and recovery. He's someone that is changing the culture of Birmingham City. And no one's going to come through that door now, do half a job in training, and that's that. You're not going to be able to, because the level has risen. You see a lot more about Chris Davis as well, and the difference he's making to this football club. Give him a new contract. Get the paperwork out. Let him put whatever number he wants on. Sign it away. Sign Chris Davis up to 10-year contract, please. People are gonna be after him. If I'm to give any final thoughts on this, I can't wait to see the next 3 episodes, and I can't wait for the season to start. It's gonna be a long week now, waiting for that Ipswich game. But this has got me so fired up. I still can't believe this is happening to my club. I just hope there's a season 2, honestly. From a selfish point of view as well, I've got to say it's an absolute privilege to be a part of this. I was buzzing that there was a Blues documentary anyway, but to actually be a part of it, it's such a privilege. And I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I know not everyone likes vloggers. I know a lot of people hate modern football, and I respect that. You can have your views, but for those who have supported me and have helped me get to a position where I have been asked to be in this documentary, like, it is a dream come true. So obviously we just want to thank everyone who supported the channel and everything. And, you know, I'm going to try and keep improving what I'm doing, and I hope you can be around for the ride. Hopefully there is a season 2, but if not, you know, hopefully you follow the channel and you know, you can kind of see where Blues are going. We're only going one way. We're going to the Premier League. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait for everyone to see it. What a privilege to be able to see it early and see it with everyone there. It's worth the wait, guys. It's very good. Anyway, I'm waffling. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the first 2 episodes, and yeah, up the Blues. What's happening to our club? If you are new, make sure you subscribe, like the video, follow the socials, and I will see you in the next one.